Monday Night Raw is off the air in Toronto. That means we're live on Wrestlezone's Facebook page and streaming around the world on multiple platforms. Everything wrestling goes down at Wrestlezone.com. What did you think of tonight's Monday Night Raw? Sound off. Get your comments on screen. The most interactive pro wrestling website is the best pro wrestling website. Wrestlezone is live after Raw now. We'll start in a little bit. Let us know what you thought of tonight's Monday Night Raw. Don't forget to share that link. What did your friends think of Raw? I want to know that too. Wrestlezone, but now I say Raw because I just watched Raw. What's up, everybody? I'm Kevin Kellam with Wrestlezone.com. Joining me from Florida, a man who looks like Seth Rollins, but his ribs are probably in better shape. That is Mr. Robert DeFelice. We are right after Monday Night Raw, a new wild experiment on our side here at Wrestlezone. We're live with you right after the TV show. What did you think of it? Monday Night Raw going down in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Big, wild crowd for them. Right after SummerSlam, we got all the fallout. We're doing so much content here, Robert. So much stuff. So much busy stuff. What did you think of Monday Night Raw? I'm going to say, right off the air, my thumb is going thumbs up. Thumbs up Raw. All right? It's a thumbs up Raw for me. Very eventful. 3 hours. I enjoyed it.
I'm going to agree with you here, Kevin, and here's why. I think Raw delivered. Raw answered some good questions, such as the return of the blue-haired Sasha Banks. I think that's what the people are interested in. Sasha Banks pulls off blue a whole hell of a lot better than Sonic the Hedgehog. And I am glad that the boss is back.
The boss is back. A big return by her. Natalya came out to the ring, cut in the heartfelt, I'm sorry, Canada, I couldn't do it for you. And then, bam, that first beat hit. She came out, the purple hair, whipped it off. Heel turn because her hair is blue. She's working blue, baby. Sasha Banks destroying Natalya. Becky Lynch to save the day, and then she got laid out with what felt like a dozen chair shots. Sasha Banks is back. A lot of fans chiming in. Richard Weaver. Sasha Banks is very good as a heel. Yeah, this is definitely a heel who is primed, ready to go. I said this earlier on today's WZ Daily with you, that this is the position to put her in, and they put it into her right away. There was no waiting here. Immediately, you felt like this was a big, big deal.
Immediately, and Sasha Banks played that cryptic Twitter game for so long, and she did it beautifully. And right before she went out, she put up one last cryptic tweet, It was her at her tryout. And then suddenly, as I'm looking at that tweet, the music hits, and baby, it's boss time. And I loved it. The only thing I'll say is I wouldn't have gone the route of bringing up the Anvil because, quite frankly, Canada wasn't feeling their homegirl. And they kind of booed Natalya, who was mourning her dead father, which came off very weird. And yeah.
Man, it was just a lot for Sasha to come out and heal up that big, that quickly, and then be positioned right away with Becky Lynch. Right away. She's in the top of the program. Immediately jumped ahead of everyone. It makes sense, though, because you have a lot of women that are short in the tag team program.
To be fair, she jumped the gun, but the line wasn't all that long, and the line wasn't all that prestigious. So yeah. I think Sasha came right in. I think it's not a coincidence that Charlotte Flair will probably face Becky and Bailey, and Becky will probably face Sasha as the Four Horsewomen gear up for their media blitz for the video game, which they are a central focus of. So I think all that will tie in together very nicely. I'm looking forward to it. I'm happy. I'm really pleased with this return.
What do you think of that beatdown, though, at the end? Those were some vicious chairs.
Crap out of her with that chair, huh?
I was watching it here. But my buddy Mark Coney from Westwood One Radio came around the corner, and he's a Novus fan. And he's like, that there's no way that's fake. I was like, no, that's real, dude. Those are real shots. She's feeling all that. Look at the chair. I was like, as the segment went on, you saw the dent in the chair. When you see the dent in the chair, that was big. A lot of people texting here, Sasha kicked ass. People want a Twitter war between Corey Graves and Sasha. I didn't catch Corey Graves' comments. Those kind of flew by me. What did he say?
So Corey Graves is just like, I told you so. She's selfish. It's all about her. As long as the lights are on bright, it's all about Sasha. She's so selfish. She's so inconsiderate. And he basically ran her down as Cole and Renee initially tried to, build her up. It's boss time. And then all of a sudden, they're like, oh, this is despicable. How dare Sasha Banks do these things to an injured and grieving Natalya? And I thought it was perfect. Obviously, the fans did not want to boo her, not blue her. That's
no, she booed her hair. Come on now, get out of the gutter. Get out of the gutter. Get out of the gutter, Robert.
But we are getting that red versus blue with Becky and Sasha now. Anyway.
You're ridiculous. Their hair is going to mix together and turn purple.
Well, no, that's what it is. It's a defiant of Becky Lynch. She's got blue hair. She's the natural rival of the redhead. That's all natural hair.
If you liked Sasha Banks appearing on Raw, hit that like button. Hit that thumbs up button on the emoji button. Let us know what you guys actually thought of her big return. It seems like the big talking point coming out of the show, which had a lot of wrestling on it. Plenty of wrestling in the ring. We got to see 2 different 24/7 title changes, which were quite hilarious.
Who had the belt for the end of the night, Kevin? Is it R-Truth again?
R-Truth, what? Excuse me?
Is it R-Truth again by the end of the night? Did he walk away with the title?
No, he did not get to walk away with the belt. Elias got to walk away with the belt this week, which was a surprise because earlier in the night, Elias dropped a match to Ricochet. Fun little competitive match by them. And then R-Truth interrupts a tag team match to get pinned by a member of the Revival, only to schoolboy him up when everyone runs down to the ring for R-Truth to run backstage to get bashed with the guitar for Elias to leave with the title. I know it's a lot of shotgun booking, but it makes for fun TV to see this title just hot potato around with so many mid-card guys. I'll say it, whoever came up with this concept is smart. It's fun television. I wouldn't describe it as wildly entertaining story development, but it's been fun. It's just fun to see so many people chase each other around for one thing and try and win it that way.
I agree. I think Elias isn't as comedically genius as Drake Maverick or Mike and Maria Kanellis, but Elias does deserve something. And that 24/7 title, what is this, his second reign with the championship?
Yeah, I believe he's had it once before.
Because R-Truth pinned him underneath the ring.
Yes, R-Truth pinned him underneath the ring. So ridiculous. Yes, it was certainly entertaining. And now you can do something with Elias, and he's certainly a character that fans enjoy booing. And R-Truth is certainly somebody that fans enjoy cheering. So why not? You have a perfect combination there for somebody to cheer in a mid-card program. Other action that we saw on Monday Night Raw included several different mid-card elevations, I felt. Bobby Roode, out of nowhere, picked up a win on TV. We hadn't seen him in a long time. What do you think of Bobby Roode getting that big win there?
I think he is an undervalued, underutilized player. This is a dude who could easily headline any of the big four. He's got the charisma, the build, and everything that can make him a legitimate main roster main eventer, and they just don't pull that trigger for some reason.
This is also worth noting. Big 2 out of 3 falls match. Another multi-segment, multifaceted round match for them to go into with Rey Mysterio and Andrade. Went the distance, but it did not go far for Rey Mysterio. He dropped 2 straight falls to Andrade. What do you think of this? Rey Mysterio, certainly not the huge star he once was in WWE, but still, he always has this gravitas in what he does. When he comes out, it's Rey Mysterio. People pop like crazy, but he's dropped several matches to Andrade now.
I don't mind 1 or 2 losses, but it's starting to feel like they just brought him back to have him in the fold, whereas I think perhaps he could have been better utilized with a lighter schedule in another promotion. Because it's not that I mind a legend losing, it's that I mind when they start to lose the meaning, because he just keeps losing. So at some point you're not floored by it anymore. It's just, oh, Rey Mysterio lost again. Okay.
People saying Rey should retire. Rey should retire.
I disagree.
Do you agree with that?
I disagree with that.
But does he look like he needs to retire? This is a guy who a couple years ago we thought should, right? Had a lot of injuries. He was slowing down. But did he look like he lost a step in that match tonight? Not at all.
Absolutely not.
Not at all. And I think it's ridiculous.
He would have been better off in the AEW camp. I think he would have been sparsely utilized. Could have had some fun matches with Jericho. Could have imagine, Jericho and Rey against the Bucks. Does he still have that 6-month out clause, or has that long since passed?
I wouldn't know what the period of that, because it's unclear if he signed the contract and then they kind of have him and then they don't do anything for a while. You don't know exactly when he signed a deal.
Right.
And he was in negotiations with them for a long, long time to come back, too.
Yeah, because they're trying to get that right deal. And I do think Rey is a guy who can easily call WWE home, but sometimes home is, while the safest place, not the best place for you. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing. I think Rey Mysterio is great. It's just WWE has depth. I think there's other things you can do with him. And also, people are like, I saw this comment. Did they just bring him back to be a jobber? Did they just bring him back to be a jobber? No, maybe you bring him back to make stars out of other people. That doesn't mean you're a jobber. Look at Dolph Ziggler tonight. Dolph Ziggler lost to The Miz. Tried to one-up The Miz and say he wasn't ready for a match. Then they had a match, and then Miz gooned him. Watch this. Dolph Ziggler going to be in position for something in the future, and that gives him a character. He has more TV time than he's had in a long, long time. People think losing means that you don't mean anything and you're getting buried. Stop running with that. All right? Losing matches doesn't mean you're getting buried. Guess what? If you lose match, you're on television. You get to be on TV and tell a story. Calm down. I think where some losses seem like that, but that's ridiculous.
But I think that logic is more applicable to a younger talent, like a Buddy Murphy. Even if he's losing on TV, he's on TV.
He's in an angle with Roman Reigns where he's getting beat up, but at least, hey, you're working with Roman Reigns.
You're in an angle with Roman Reigns. With Rey, I feel like there's equity in that name and that brand and that mask that it should be better utilized. And granted, if this puts Elias in a position where, hey, he's the U.S. champion coming out of Clash of Champions, I'm cool with that. Because I think
I like this comment here from Steven. Don't mean to cut you off there. What do you think if Rey went over to 205 Live? He's been regarded as the greatest cruiserweight wrestler of all time. And he's had the title several different times in whatever incarnation of it. But this incarnation of the WWE Cruiserweight title, he's never had. I think he could add a lot of gravity to that show and really add something to it.
I think he could add a lot to 205 Live. And here's a hot take for you. Take Ricochet with you.
No, I think Ricochet is good on Raw. I think he's having some exciting match.
Yeah, but I think 205 Live would benefit from that star power of both Ricochet and MYSTERIO. That's a brand I should tune into every week. And I think 205 Live suffers from that. People not wanting to check it out.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Matt Pestle saying, please no more 2 out of 3 falls matches. What do you think of that? They've had a lot of multi-level matches here in the past, and this has been something that WWE's been doing quite a bit to add more attention span viewing from commercial break to commercial break.
Well, I don't think they've done it in a few weeks, and I think this particular match was done to solidify Andrade as he's got Ray's number completely. He swept him clean. He is the Mexican superstar for the company now, not Ray.
We'll see where it goes. We'll see where this thing goes, because there is so much influx, especially as WWE gets closer to October, when SmackDown moves over to network television on Fox. You're going to think that Raw is going to want something special, and Raw is getting something special next week. The return of the King of the Ring. A lot of response to this. It was trending online. What do you think of the King of the Ring coming back to WWE next week? It's a one-night tournament, apparently. That's the way we're looking at it. Maybe things could change. They could always change. But we're getting
the one night. I think they're going to play it out through Raw and SmackDown.
You think they're going to play it out over 2 nights?
I don't know. There's 16 guys, so can you do 8 matches in 1 or 2 nights?
I think they could do it in 1 night if they wanted to, but maybe if they just do the first round next week and then roll from there, I'm okay with that.
I think it would. Honestly, I know we don't like. A lot of people get salty about the Saudi Arabian shows, but that's a crown jewel. Is a cool name for an event to see the finals of the King of the Ring.
All right, looking at names here for the King of the Ring. I'm going to put these up here on the screen for you guys as we roll through. It looks like a pretty stacked roster of guys for the King of the Ring tournament. They include, currently, I'm trying to get this up on the screen at the same time because we just got them. So that's annoying. I'm going to roll these here on the screen. We're going to get Buddy Murphy in action, Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens, Shelton Benjamin, Sami Zayn, Cedric Alexander, Baron Corbin, Apollo Crews, Buddy Murphy, Cesaro, Elias, I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anyone, Ali, Drew McIntyre, Ricochet, and The Miz. That's a lot of mid-card talent, a lot of depth you can see just in those ranks right there. A couple of former world champions in the order as well, and a couple of names that you know are on SmackDown. So there is a possibility that half of this will be on Raw and then half of this will be on SmackDown.
I think Kevin Owens, he's a guy who does not need this crown. He does not need this tournament, but it will play into whatever he's got going on with Shane McMahon. The names that stand out to me are Cesaro, Drew McIntyre, and Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin, because God knows he would, like, the arrogance and the unbridled, just, I am so great, you can't get rid of me, with King Baron Corbin. I think that would be a lot of fun. I'm pulling for Cesaro because those King of Swing shirts were badass, and now I could say King of Swing and King of the Ring. So I want one of those shirts. So I'm pulling for Cesaro, and Drew McIntyre obviously could make any scepter, crown, and robe look like $1 million with that rockstar body. 7 feet tall king, man. The tall king, I would take that. Couple of people chiming in here. Owens McIntyre in the finals. That's what Jeff House sees it. Richard Weaver agrees with you. The King of Swing sounds pretty good. He agree with you. Cesaro going all the way. Steve texting in here from New York City saying that Ali is his favorite. And Keating Grass would also love to see Ali win after he missed out on an opportunity at Extreme Rules. Ali was also positioned to have a big match at WrestleMania in a football stadium, biggest show of the year. I think Ali is in a position to maybe get some shine here. Also, you can have some guys that don't win it, just like in the G1 tournament, which lasts a month. But in a tournament, you can have a couple guys who get the rub, just going up the ladder, not exactly getting to the top. I think Chad Gable is that guy in this tournament. Chad Gable can go very far with this. He can do a lot. Shelton Benjamin's in here. He never does wrong. Sami Zayn is a cheeky son of a gun, and like he can pull off that crown pretty well.
A lot of people, Nick Batson brought up this comment. I want to show this one time. Thanks for this one, Nick. A lot of people I saw on Facebook, on Twitter, saying once this was announced, how come it's not a one-night pay-per-view tournament? Why do they put it on TV? Why couldn't you have them? But it's like, does everything have to be a pay-per-view? I can understand would this be an exciting pay-per-view for some people, but I'm of the thought that if you put it on TV, that's television you want to tune into. Don't you want to watch Raw for something? Why would you not want to watch Raw for that? Are we going to have 3-hour episodes of Monday Night Raw to build up to a one-night tournament that's going to be over in 2 hours, 2.5 hours? I'm okay with the idea of doing it on television, or if you're going to do it over the course of multiple nights to make it something you want to watch regular matches instead of just having wrestler A versus wrestler B to build up to storyline C. Every match has weight then. Every match has stakes to it because they want to win their way up the ladder and get something.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I would prefer it be a network special only in the sense of, like, this is why you have a network. This is something fun you can do with your network, but this is also something fun that you can do for your television partners, and this is something you can show Fox and say, hey, look what we've got. You can show this to the USA Network. Mm-hmm. And either way, the King of the Ring is one of my favorite traditions. It's one of my favorite WWE events of all time, and King of the Ring always makes somebody. Even when it doesn't go as long as you might think, King Mabel got a title shot at SummerSlam. King of the Ring does things for people.
It does a lot of things for people. There's been plenty of kings. Who's your favorite King of the Ring? We had a lot of people hitting us up on Twitter with that tonight at Wrestlezone.com. A lot of people firing off their gifts of King Mabel and Owen Hart. I'm a fan of Owen Hart. I think Owen Hart got plenty out of it when he had the crown and he had the two slammings. I enjoyed that quite a bit.
So my favorite King of the Ring would have to be Owen Hart because I don't think that anybody ran with that as much as Owen did, and that moniker, the King of Hearts, is that's gold, baby. That's money.
Absolutely. Main event of this week's Raw saw Seth Rollins take on AJ Styles, a champion versus champion match. Pretty solid contest, but it broke down into the OC beating up a babyface. A lot of people say, oh, it's a lame finish, but it set some pretty cool stuff up. Ricochet ran down to the ring to save the day. He got laid out by the OC again. So who saves the day but Braun Strowman? What do you think of Braun Strowman positioning himself in the championship picture?
I think WWE is sad that they don't have Ambrose, that they can't do the Shield versus the Club. That's what I think. Braun Strowman and Ricochet, that's kind of a weird pairing. I think Braun's eventually going to move back into the Universal title picture. I think Braun really should take on AJ because he's one guy who can take on the three dudes. And, Ricochet, it's time for him to move on from Styles. Maybe a match with Seth Rollins, a one-off, might help him do that.
I think Braun is the right guy. He had a very, very fun, surprising, exceeding expectations last man standing match with Bobby Lashley at last month's pay-per-view. And it's just been mowing down jabronis and staying hot in the roster for a while on television. This is the right time. I think they've heated him up a little bit. I think he can have a handful of big wins. I think the OC is okay. I don't think they were made to look like a bunch of goofs. They were made to look strong and dangerous, and it took 3 guys to get them out of the ring when they were beating up everybody else. I don't think we looked wrong here. Let's see what some of the other people think. Daniel Couture saying next week OC and Balor versus Rollins, Ricochet, Strowman at Survivor Series. People already want to see Finn Balor.
Whoa. We are
already
on ahead, pal. You just booked to November. You don't even know what September and October look like. You don't even know.
Pay this month's rent. Pay this month's rent, buddy.
For real, man. Pay this month's rent. And then maybe next month and the month after, too. And then you could start talking about November if you feel like it. But you got to get there first.
Absolutely. A lot of people centering off here. Nick Batson saying, I don't think Braun needs the title. I think Braun needs it. Braun's never had a huge title opportunity. And I mean, he's had a title opportunities, but a huge title run. And he's always been propped up as this big attraction, a big monster. And then he fell down the ladder with injuries and different things. And also, losing to other competitors. They always retain that monster aspect of him with these big spectacles, him turning over cars, him knocking down the screens, him tearing down stuff and throwing people through things. Braun is someone who's been positioned to have something big, but he's never had it. And I really think that is the championship. Now, is it the time to take it off Seth Rollins? A lot of people feeling weird about Seth Rollins. He defeated Brock Lesnar just last night as the champion. I saw some people already poo-pooing on Seth Rollins as the WWE Universal Champion.
I think people are down on the idea of Rollins because it feels stale. It feels, I guess stale's the wrong word. It feels like there's a gear missing. He's missing a gear. And I think people just want to immediately jump to, well, take it off of him and get to the next hot item, whatever that might be, whether it's Braun or Ricochet or whatever. It's that thing where people just want to move forward all the time. People can't live in the now. We're always thinking about what's trending tomorrow. Because the 10 things that are trending now aren't good enough. They're old hat already. What's trending tomorrow?
No, you're actually right. We're already come on, people are already booking the Survivor Series. You can't please everybody. I think Seth Rollins being the champion again was a fine move. I'm not tired of it. I think he's a definitive guy. Look, he has great matches. But now in WWE, having a great match doesn't mean that much anymore because everyone's having great matches, right? More than enough people are having great matches. And I think when you're in other promotions, having the best match means you're the best guy. Now in WWE, you kind of need to be that exciting character. And I think maybe some people don't think that Seth's character is as exciting as he could be. I think it is. I think he's fighting from underneath angle is entertaining and engaging. And you saw it. It worked last night against Brock Lesnar. I don't know. And then I saw some people saying, oh, it's like Roman Reigns. They're trying to force it. They're trying to force it.
Yeah, I read that. And I read your reply to that. And that's funny. It's people just don't want to accept that, okay, at some point, in order for this business to work, in order for wrestling to work, somebody's got to get behind you and you need to be pushed. That's just a fact of life. You need to be written into the cards to win the titles. And we all know that. And I don't understand why people like to get all bent out of shape about, oh, but they're pushing this guy. They're pushing him too hard. It's like, you got to get there to get the guy the damn belt. I don't get it. Like, insider culture has just overtaken this wrestling thing entirely. And I'm going to cut myself off because it's 11:30. And you got to get out of there, Kevin.
We do have to get out of here. It's 11:30 your time, 10:30 my time. We'll try and keep doing this tomorrow night. We'll be on, I think, a little bit later after SmackDown. Keep an eye on our socials for more of that. But check us out for WZ Daily. WZ Daily is our live streaming podcast. You can consume it just like you would any other podcast on iTunes. Go subscribe, search Wrestlezone Radio, and we'll have tons of different content out there. We have interviews with the cast of Glow. We have interviews with Ken Shamrock coming up later this week, the world's most dangerous man. I got to talk to him, and I felt intimidated doing so. Also, our show, WZ Daily, 4 days a week. 4 days a week, we're live here. So we'll be live with WZ Daily tomorrow right around 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Keep an eye, though, on SmackDown. Maybe a toss-up on there because I got the radio job across the hall tomorrow night. So a lot to jump into. Thank you, Richard Weaver. Thank you guys for joining the show. If you were with us for the first time, make sure you turn those Facebook notifications on so you know when we go live. If you're enjoying the show on YouTube, subscribe. Turn your notifications on there so you guys know that we're live with you on YouTube as well. Thank you so much. We'll be back with more. Just remember that one important thing when you watch wrestling. What is that, Robert?
Enjoy it. Enjoy wrestling.
Just enjoy it. That's the main thing.